Hey, how you doing, guys? This is Jay, and you're watching Unspun Media. Today I want to talk about a little bit of a dilemma that I've got. I was talking to a friend of mine about all these protests that are going on with the kids from Parkland, Florida. They're marching up to Tallahassee, their state capital. They're talking to their senators. They're trying to affect change. I told a friend of mine who's a pretty conservative guy that I was really proud of these kids, that regardless of your political point of view, it's tough to watch these kids and not kind of get goosebumps. It feels like somebody's actually doing something. It's kind of weird that it took a bunch of teenagers to show the adults how to do business, but it feels like they're actually doing something. I'm kind of proud of them. And he looks at me and he goes, seriously, they're being controlled by the liberal media. And I'm like, well, I think the liberal media is using what they're doing to push their agenda. There's probably no doubt about that. But I think these kids passionately feel in favor of what they're talking about. And I think I've seen a lot of different kids who have different views on what they think the right answer is with gun control. I think overall they're trying to just get something done rather than seeing the typical bicker for a week and forget about the shooting kind of thing. And that's what I like to see. And he responds by saying, no, this is just a coordinated attack against the NRA. To which I say, well, fuck the NRA. And then he calls me a hypocrite because I am a pretty avid concealed handgun carrier. I carry this with me frequently. I'm very much in favor of the Second Amendment. I carry a concealed handgun pretty much everywhere I can where it's lawful. And I'm not apologetic about that. And I don't think that being an advocate of the Second Amendment and opposing the NRA are two things that can't coexist. I don't dislike the NRA because I dislike guns. I dislike the NRA because they're the NRA. Now, to be fair, it's not specifically the NRA that I have a problem with. I mean, I do have a problem with the NRA, but it's not. I'm not just hell-bent against them as an organization. They're just probably one of the biggest poster children of the thing that I do have a problem with, which are lobbyist companies. And I know, 501c3, they're a nonprofit organization. No, fuck that. They're a company. You know how I know that? Go ahead. Google how much Wayne LaPierre makes a year. I'll wait here. You figure it out? Yeah, that was six figures. That was $972,000 a year. That was only six figures on a technicality. That's probably not an accident. It was probably just the highest number he could pick without making it seem like $1 million. So while, yes, they are technically a nonprofit organization, they're absolutely for profit. And let me read off of their actual website here. This is from their About Us page. While widely recognized today as a major political force and as America's foremost defender of Second Amendment rights, the NRA has since its inception been the premier firearms education organization in the world. Now, if you're a gun person like myself, I do like guns, that all sounds awesome. But that's not in reality what they do. Yes, the NRA has classes. Yes, the NRA has instructors. Yes, it's prestigious in the firearms world to be an NRA certified instructor. Yes, they do have a lot of clout in the firearm industry. But the biggest problem I've got is this. Let's pause about the NRA for a minute. Now we're going to do a little thought experiment. I want you to think of the nastiest food you can imagine. I know this is an opinion question. It's going to be different for everybody. And I'm not talking foods you can't eat because you're allergic to them and you'll die. I'm talking foods that are safe for you to eat, but you simply hate them and you don't want to eat them. Think whatever that is for you. Think about it. For me, it's black olives. I can't fucking stand black olives. I think they're grotesque. I think they're hideous. The smell makes me gag. I hate them. I would never eat them voluntarily. Or would I? Now tell me this, that food that you're thinking of, if somebody walked up to you and said, hey man, I'll give you $1,000 to eat that food, would you do it? I'd eat me some olives for $1,000. I wouldn't like it, but I like $1,000. What about 10 grand? What about 100,000? What if somebody came up to you and said, look, I want to give you $1 million. You don't even have to eat black olives. I just want you to tell everybody that you love black olives. I want you to never ever say an unkind word about black olives again. Can you do that for me for $1 million? Not gonna lie, I'd do it. 100% I'd do it. Because I never seen $1 million before. And if all I gotta do is not talk shit about olives, go olives. It's that easy, man. Money talks. That's what I'm saying. We've all been through that before. We've all seen that to some degree or another. This is what the NRA does. But they don't do it with black olives and $1 million. No. Their sights are set far higher than that. They do it with issues of actual civil liberties and hundreds of millions of dollars. And no, they don't walk up to candidates and say, hey man, support the Second Amendment and I'm going to give you $30 million. No, that's too on the nose. They go to prison for that. No. That's not how it works. It's a lot more Godfather than that. What you can do is something more along the lines of, I think you could have a very successful campaign. I'd like to make you an offer you can't refuse. Okay? my terrible Vito Corleone impression aside, that's more like what they do. They have a rating system for candidates, for all politicians pretty much. They grade these politicians just like you get graded on a test in school, A through F. That tells the masses that follow the NRA who and who not to vote for. This isn't a grade based on how passionate this person is about gun control or gun rights in general. This isn't a grade based on if they're doing right by their constituents. This is a grade based on how well they align with the NRA's agenda. For candidates that are already somewhat in favor of the Second Amendment, this pretty much means conservatives. For conservative candidates, support from the NRA means millions of votes. It means millions and millions of dollars toward your campaign. All you have to do is kiss the ring. That is why I can't stand the NRA. Because there's nothing wrong with the broad concept of lobbying. I have a problem with lobbyists because of how organized and how well funded they get. But the simple idea of organizing as a group of people and going up to your politician that represents you and say, hey, we are this group that's a 3-letter acronym, and by God, 3-letter acronym wants to see this from you, or we're going to tell everybody. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not what the NRA is doing. What the NRA does is they reach in from wherever they're headquartered at, across their district line into my district. They give my senator money. They give my House representative money. They give my presidential candidate money. And no, I'm not a Trump supporter, but in this case, he's the president. So they give Trump money to think how they want him to think. And that is not the job of the politicians that I vote for. The politicians I vote for are supposed to represent their constituency, which is me and everybody who lives near me, not the NRA. That, my friends, is why I can't fucking stand those guys. That is why I can walk around carrying a concealed weapon everywhere I go, because that's what I choose to do to affect my own safety, while at the same time not feeling like a hypocrite for saying fuck the NRA. Fuck Wayne LaPierre, boycott the NRA, and go kids in Parkland. I don't feel like the least bit of a hypocrite about that, because yes, I carry my concealed weapon everywhere I go. Yes, I don't agree with some of the things these kids are saying. I don't think that we could effectively ban assault weapons in this country, and even if we did, I don't think it would do a whole lot to stop violence from the weapons that already exist out in circulation. But all of that's irrelevant, because people have created this false dichotomy where it seems like there's two choices. You're either an NRA supporting gun nut, Second Amendment, hoorah, big nuts gun carrier, or you're this, Wayne LaPierre's words, socialist gun control nut that's a tree hugging hippie that doesn't want to see any guns in this country and has delusions of a utopian grandeur. Those are two wild extremes on the far right and far left. I think where most people live, like I said in my last video, is more toward the center of that bell curve. I don't think there's anybody out there that's trying to repeal the Second Amendment. And no, don't sharpshoot me in the comments. I know there's probably people out there who want that, but that's unrealistic. By and large, nobody's looking to do away with the Second Amendment. Nobody's looking to say, take everybody's guns away and run over them with tanks like in fucking Australia or whatever they did. Nobody wants that. But the one thing people agree on is that nobody wants kids to die either. And nothing's being done to stop it. I'm not scared of gun control measures that might come out of this movement from these kids, because I'm a law-abiding citizen. I have nothing to worry about. If they try to pass something that's going to come and take my guns away, infringe on what I believe are my civil liberties, absolutely I'll stand up against that. 100%. I'll be out there with a picket sign, but I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I don't think that's what people are looking for. I think they're really looking to try and stop this fucking guy from having one of these. And I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to want to do. So rather than bickering about it for a week or two and then forgetting about it until the next shooting, rather than letting the NRA pull the strings of our politicians and control the media, rather than doing the same fucking dog and pony show we always do, if you've got a problem with what these people from Parkland are saying, then put up or shut up. Until then, I've got those kids' backs, because all anyone else wants to do is just fucking argue and then forget about it. And we can't have that anymore. With that said, I'm going to get off my soapbox now and just call it a video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I said I was going to put out one video a week, but this kind of has been brewing in my head and I couldn't wait until Wednesday for it. So I'll put out another video Wednesday-ish, Thursday, somewhere in there. If you like this video, check out my last one. I'd tell you to check out the rest of my videos, but I don't have any rest of my videos because this is a brand new channel. So instead of checking out the rest of my videos, hit that subscribe button and see the next ones that come. If you like this video, hit the like button for me. Thank you very much. You can find me on Twitter at UnspunMediaYT. Take care.